That summer, she had bought me shorts, all same color, probably 10 pair, and 10 matching tank tops, kind of sort of what I'm wearing right now. And a friend of hers had given her some clothes for me. And in that bag was a training bra, a nice padded one. I was beyond excited, right? So as soon as I see it, I rip my shirt off, put on the trainer, and I'm like, oh, here we go, right? So I go outside, get on my bike, and I'm, playing, and come back in to my yard, and my brothers and my cousins are standing over there. My brother kind of walks past me, and he pops my trainer, right? You guys are probably thinking, from the back. No. I didn't know that I had to have something in the trainer to keep it in place, right? Because I still look like, at 10 even, my boy cousins. So he pops it from the front, and it had risen all the way up to my neck. Right? There's nothing in it. So he pops it in here. Right? I'm like, oh shit! How did he get it there? Right? So I'm like, okay, I gotta figure this out. So I think, okay, I know, I'm gonna put some toilet paper in. Right? 10-year-old mind is working. Summertime, I put some toilet paper in them, so I put the toilet paper in them, go play. Sure enough, the next day, get outside, get in the yard again, and they laugh. My cousins, my brother, laughing at me. And I'm like, what? And so now you can see the tissue, and the bra is still up on the Right? So then, I decide, all right, I know what I'm going to do. Right? I had invented, at 10, the little gels, that cup things that be in bras, ladies, right? You know what I'm talking about. Well, I take toilet paper, and I decide I'm going to weight it. So I'm going to wet the toilet paper, and I'm going to form it. Jeez. Right? Put on my trainer again, go outside to play, come back in the yard, and I'll be damned if it's not up there. So again, didn't understand that I needed something in them. So now that I'm figuring out, okay, I've got to figure out how to get something in there. So me and my girlfriends are talking about it, and there's another young girl, 2 young girls in my neighborhood, and they got them already. We're the same age. One was slightly larger than the other. Right? So we're like, what did you guys do? Right? What did you do? So one girl tells us, we put butter. I used butter. That's what happened. Right? So me and my friend must have got on our bikes and sped to my house. Sneaking in the house. Right? Let's ready to get the butter out. Put your shirt up. Rubbing on her. Right? And so we go through that process. Didn't work, of course. Right? So after a week, we still don't have any breasts. Right? So the girl that was slightly bigger, we go to her and say, what'd you do? She said, oh, I pressed myself up against the wall. So we must have run to my house, go to my bedroom, right to the wall. Right? Again, didn't work. Didn't work. So, 13, I have a size nice full set C at age 13. I hated them. Absolutely hated them. Because now they're in my way. Right? I can't kick it. I can't be free. They're in my way. And you can't probably figure it. I'm tall. I'm from Indiana. I play basketball. Now I'm running up and down the court. Been playing since I was 8, but I'm running up and down the court at 13, and I'm getting black eyes. Right? So I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? I can't stand them. I got to get rid of them. I got to figure out what to do. So my mom, says, we got to get you some really good bras. We spend money on bras. When you have big boobs, you got to hoist them on up there, keep them up there. So I wore a bra forever. I never took my bra off after I started wearing them because I didn't like them. I didn't like them moving. So I would double up on my bras and playing basketball. My mom, before the good sport bras were invented, my mom would bind me. Right? So she'd wrap me up with an ace bandage for my basketball games. And that worked. That was great. Right? Only I couldn't breathe. So we had to loosen it up a little bit, but that was how I went through high school, and as a high school athlete I was bound, right, by my breast, so to speak. Age 15, I grow to a 36D. Hate them still. right? For the same reasons, and they're getting me some attention, but I don't really care for that as much either. Right? By age 17, though, yeah, I had to kind of feeling myself because now I'm a full 38 double D. Right? And while I hated it for basketball, I loved it for the boys. Right? Because that's where I was getting, my attention from in regard to that. And I know you guys think that our breasts are for you. They're not. But at that time, at the tender age of 17, I had no idea, right, what they were for and who they were for. But I too believed that they were for you. So age 20, I get to college, and I'm playing basketball, Western Michigan University. I'm a Bronco, full ride basketball scholarship, and my coach complained about the fact that my sports bras were more than my tennis shoes, right? And so I'm still kind of bound by my breasts, and I don't really like them, and I don't really even appreciate them, right? And what's interesting about that time in my life was who affirmed their beauty for me. Still it wasn't the men, even though they kind of did when I was 17, but at 20, it wasn't the men who affirmed them for me. It was my teammates, believe it or not. And that was because those were the people that I walked around naked with, right? In the locker room, completely, we didn't care. We had to take showers. We're on the road all the time. We're in hotel rooms all the time. In our locker rooms, so freely. The only really time at that time in my life that I felt even liberated enough to do that was in the locker room or with my teammates. And these women I've been around for now 2 years, 3 years, 4 years over my 5 years there as a student athlete. And I remember coming out of the shower one time and my teammate said to me, Star, you got some nice ass titties. And I was like, what? She was like they just sit up there like perfect. And they're big. What are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm like a double D. She's like, wow. All my other teammates sitting there like, yeah. They nice. And I'm like, really? They're like, oh, chicks pay for them. Right? You just got them. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So that liberated me. Right? So now I feel like, okay, and they're just sitting up there nice, Star. You don't even got to wear a bra. And I'm thinking, oh, I got to wear a bra. Right. Well, that's changed the rest of my college career. Right? Because now I'm going braless. And, they're pretty and perky and young, right? And my teammates have said they're beautiful, and I believe them. And they were. They were. So at around, transition again, in college also, my guy friends who were on the boys basketball team, they affirmed me too, but in a completely only guy kind of way, right? They used to say that my boobs got there before I did. So I would walk in the cafeteria, and these were my friends, and it might sound kind of derogatory maybe, if you will, or it didn't make me uncomfortable, but I'd walk in the cafeteria every morning, and they would go, titties! Like only men could. Just 3 of them, just sitting at the table, titties! And I'd be like, here they go, right? At 26, my fiance at the time and the father of my 3 children and I get pregnant and have our first of 3. And when I find out that I'm pregnant, I'm scared to death for all kinds of reasons. But one is also because, I've kind of seen what childbearing does to a woman's body, especially her boobs, right? And so I'm like, oh, I've just been liberated for the last 6 years. I've been braless, they've been beautiful, they haven't even sagged yet. And now, I'm about to have a baby. What's going to happen to them, right? And oh, lo and behold, my baby's rectum. Completely rectum, right? Because in my pregnancy, while I loved being pregnant. I loved it. There was nothing more powerful to me than a woman creating life, right? And I looked good doing it. I was scared about that too. I didn't look too bad, All I had was booty, which I was super excited about too, and breast. They were huge, huge. Right? I went from, throughout all 3 of my pregnancies, I went from that cute little 38 double D to an H. Oh, right. I didn't even know that they had an H. Until I had my babies. They were huge, you know. And after that, my husband at the time used to say, "You got little people on your chest." And I did. They were huge, huge. And so as they deflated back down to size, you know, then they were wrecked. But it was at this time in my life also that I knew how terribly I had misappropriated their use, who they were for, and what they were for. Because I'll never forget the day that the doctor handed me my firstborn, my son, in my arms, and he latched onto my breast. And the sound of him suckling for me, oh, there was nothing more beautiful. Nothing more beautiful than that. And I knew then, oh, they weren't for the men. They weren't for me. They were for my child. They were to sustain life. And it was just profound to me. Oh, there wasn't anything at that time that could top that. And to think that I got to do that 2 more times with my other 2 children. That sound of them growing and getting fat from me. Oh, what a blessing. You know, now I know what my body is for. And I think we as women so often lose sight of what we're meant to do and what our bodies are for. And we so underappreciate them, and we're not good to them, and we talk bad about them, and we're hard on each other about the transformation that happens, you know. And then they get saggy, and you know, because they went from being up here to being on my stomach, right? And I hated them, and I thought, this is just terrible. And we live in a society where, you know, that's terrible. There's nothing attractive about that, right? So at age 33, I just had our last baby, and I'm standing in the mirror, and I'm looking at myself, and I'm like, damn, you know, I hate them. They're hanging there. I got to hoist them up in the bra. Hoist them up in my chest, right? I got to roll them like a Tootsie Roll. To even create the cleavage that I'm so used to love, right? So I'm standing there and I'm looking in the mirror, and I remember the house that we lived in at the time. You know, my husband and the father of my 3 children could walk up the stairs, and if you got right at the right point, you could look into our bedroom and our bathroom. And he used to sit there and watch me. So I'm standing there. And one day I caught him watching me, and he's just smiling, and I'm looking disgusted, and he's, and I said, you know, he says to me, you know, what's the matter? And I said, well, I just hate my breasts. I just don't like them, and you know, I'm almost to tears, you know. And he says to me, oh, Star, don't you see, you know, that your breasts are the roadmap, the atlas, the foundation of our family? We've done that together. Me and you done that. And God. And they're beautiful. Just the way that they are. And I remember I teared up a little bit. And I thought, oh, that was sweet of you to say. And I appreciate that, because it's true. All right. But I still don't like them. But I'm going to keep them, because supposedly you're going to be the person who's going to look at them for the rest of my life. And so I went on. That was, you know, that. I'm stuck with these boobs, you know, but they sustain my children, and I know what they're for, and they're beautiful. Even still. Age 38, November 14th, 2014, I get diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. And what these beautiful breasts that I've had this love-hate relationship with, that has sustained the life of my children, been about sustaining life, could now possibly kill me. Where did I do that at? How's that possible? Right? And I remember getting that diagnosis, and even then, still, that mother and the sustaining life, my first thought was, as my breast navigator tells me that my breast cancer, that you have cancer, stage 3. She said, I thought, thank God it's not my babies. See, because I knew that this battle was between me and God and cancer. And all day I'm betting on me and God. Right? I got it. Right? But right behind that thought was, but my mother can't say that. Because see, she sustained my life through her breast. She can't say, oh, but not my kid. Right? So it just was a hard time. But then right after that, I said, you know what? I cried for her. This is about to be the new TID project. Stage 1, 2, and 3. Right? Because I'm very dense, and I don't know if any of you ladies know what that means, but my cancer wasn't caught on a mammogram. I've gotten them every year because my Aunt Lavelle, who made me put a shirt on, had breast cancer at 35 and lost her battle to cancer 10 years later. Right? So I go every year. But the breast cancer had been forming for 4 years. So since I started going at 35, it didn't show up. So if you have dense breast, ladies, or you know a woman that do, there's a possibility that the mammogram is not going to catch it. You need to get an ultrasound. And you need to tell your doctors that if they're not suggesting it. Anyway, finding this out, new TID project, you know what, not how I intended on getting some new ones, but we're about to do it, right? Chemotherapy, tell my doctor, you know what, take them both, double mastectomy, stage 2. I still have stage 3 to complete, and that's radiation when I get back to Indiana in July. And so, there it is. At 39, May 7th, 2015, I'm scheduled for my double mastectomy with reconstruction. And I'm laying on the operating table. My arms are stretched out. And they are, you know, there's 2 nurses, one here and one here. One of them is praying, one of them is just rubbing my face and rubbing my hand. And they're praying over me and telling me, okay, Star, we're about to give you your anesthesia. And, you know, you're about to go to sleep. You know, I look at them and say, make sure they're pretty. And then as the tears fall from my eyes, I say goodbye to my breast. And I say thank you for sustaining the life of my children. Thank you for showing me what my body was meant for, what I was meant to do with my body. I thank them just for being a part of my life. And I wanted them to forgive me for ever, ever, ever not loving them. And I woke up with new ones. And have been completely liberated because now again, I get to go braless. Now again, they are perky and young. Right? And they become my BFFs, my boobs for fun. And while it is taking everything in me not to take off my shirt so that you can see them. Like I used to run around when I was 7 years old with my guy cousins. I want to run around right now. Right? If for nothing more than to hear my Aunt Lavelle call down from heaven, Star, you put on a shirt. Thank you.
my mother. She's the youngest or the 6th of 8 children, was the 6th of 8 children. She's lost both of her sisters, and so she's the only girl left. So there were 3 girls, and she was the youngest of the 3 girls. And, you know, straight shooter, just tell it like it is, or as she would say, tell it like it T.I. is. Right. Right. And if you want to know, if you don't want to know the truth, the absolute truth, don't ask my mom. I was 12 years old, and it was her birthday. So, even before I tell you that, she, of the 3 sisters, was the only one that had never been married. Right? Never been married. That's a whole other story. That's hilarious as well, her philosophy behind that. But she's never been married. Her 3 sisters, the other 2, of course, had gotten married. And they got married, not necessarily because they wanted to, but they still grew up in a household in a time where girls got married to move out of their parents' home. Right? So they got married, you know, married for years, and to move out of my grandma's house. Right? So my mother, you know, would sit around every once in a while with them, and I would sit with them, and she'd be talking shit. She'd be like, y'all asses didn't know y'all could just move out? Get married to move? Shit, I'll just move out. Right? My mom. So, 12 years old, and my mom, it was her birthday. She's a young mom. She's about 32. She was celebrating her 32nd birthday. And she was dating this guy, JT. She dated him from probably the age of, I was 9 to about 13 and a half. So one, you know, on her birthday, you know, in the house, and she wasn't home. JT comes in the house and he says, "Hey, it's your mom's birthday. You want to go with me and get her a gift?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's go." You know, I said, "What we getting?" He said, "Well, she mentioned, you know, some pots and pans and a few other things, but we're going to get what's most expensive." I'm like, "Oh, I'm down. Let's go. That's my mom. Most expensive. Let's go." So I'm from the Midwest. I'm from Indiana. Born and raised, grew up there. And the store at the time that we went to in my little hometown was called Meese. It would be comparable to maybe a Nordstrom's, Dillard's, right? So we go to Meese. We go in there and we go to the kitchen section. You know, we look at a few other things when we go to the kitchen section, and there's this huge box of stainless steel pots and pans. Right? You know, so it's huge, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, like a 50-piece, something crazy." So we take it up to the cash register. He carrying it. We take it up to the cash register. She ring it up. It's $250. $250 pots and pans. Oh, she about to be elated. That's like $2 million to me, right? At 12, $250. So you know, we buy them. We stop at the little dollar store on the way home. Get a big red bowl for them, bring it in the house, put it in the kitchen. You know, I go back into the house, I go into my bedroom, and I'm in there, and I hear my mama come through the back door. Well, the back door is the kitchen. So I go to my door, and I'm waiting. I'm standing there, you know, and I'm like, listening, I'm excited, you know, waiting to see if she's going to open it, what's she about to do, you know. And she called my name. But she called me by my full government handle. "Oh, that's when that Robinson getting hit right now." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Oh, shit, it's a problem." So I, you know, make my way. I walk in there. I walk to the kitchen. I'm standing there. You know, I'm looking at her. She got both hands on her hip. I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "Get in here." So I take one step in the kitchen, out of reach, right? It's a problem. And she said, you see this bullshit right here?" And I am floored. I am absolutely like confused, right? And all I'm thinking is, "Oh shit, please, look, I can't tell her I went with it." get this here bullshit on the kitchen table. Right, so she sees the confusion on my young 12-year-old face. And so she take one hand off her hip, if she relax a little bit, keep the other one on. And she said to me, I am going to tell you what an acceptable birthday gift is. I'm waiting. Okay. She said, cash. Jewelry. Perfume. But now don't let him come in here with a bottle only. I need the shower gel and we need a set. So, you know, I take that, I hear, you know, I'm like, all right, you know, but I'm still, you know, I'm 12, I'm still like, and I'm kind of almost like, you know, damn that, you know, she kind of ungrateful. You know, it's $250 in bullshit on the table she talking about. Before tax. Right? So, she going back to her room. I, you know, go on to, you know, do whatever I'm going to do. And I come back home and I'm sitting in the kitchen. And JT came back. And he comes in the kitchen, you know. Now, mind you, the pots and pans still sitting there. They ain't been touched. He walks in, you know, and I'm sitting in the kitchen. He looked at me like, and I was just, it's a problem. And whatever you do, don't tell her I went with you. You're on your own, bro. It's a problem. So he goes back, you know, to her room. You know, they talk or whatever. I stay there about another 15 minutes, you know, waiting to see what's going to happen. Nothing happened. I could hear her. So I go on out, I play, I go do my thing. I come back home, and I just gone maybe a couple hours to come back home from outside. And as soon as I step in the back door of the kitchen, you know, she called my name from her room. Starla Antoinette Robinson, get in here. I said, oh, shit. What now? Right, so I go into her bedroom, and I'm standing there, and she says to me, you know, in her pose, with one hand on her hip, so a little relaxed, and she says to me, I know that, you know, you still don't understand, but I am going, this is a teachable moment, right? She said that throughout my life, and still says that. You know, this is a teachable moment, and this is one of many lessons into your womanhood. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, as a mother and a woman, everything that you do will be around maintaining and sustaining your family and your children. Everything that you do. So any gift that you receive, be it your birthday, Christmas, any gift that you receive, should be in appreciation of the work required to sustain and maintain the life of your family and your children. From the womb, this is what you will be doing for the rest of your life. And then both hands went back on her hip. Because it should never, ever fucking create more work. Right here. It's work. It's not a gift. So, okay, I get it. I get it. So, I'm in her room, and on her bed is the pots and pans, smaller box, gift box, and even smaller gift box. So, of course, I know what the pots and pans is. And the gift box, you know, she opens it for me, right? And I look, and it is Volute perfume, right? And of course, it's a set. There's shower gel and lotion, right? And the next smaller box, she opens that one for me. And it is this beautiful watch, absolutely beautiful. And I'm just completely enamored. not by the watch, but by my mother, because she spoke of such truth and strength, and I just was in complete awe of her, and I still am. And the watch was just beautiful. It was well made, thick, but feminine and dainty, but still strong. And so I just always felt like that watch so represented who my mother is and was at that time. And I loved it, and I loved it. I would always ask her to wear it. So about 4 years ago, she gave it to me. And because it was my favorite, I mean, anytime that I could, anytime a special event was happening in my life, from high school through college, I wanted to wear that watch. So once I, told her about this story that I was going to tell about her and about, her birthday and this watch, was the first time that she knew what it meant to me. So now she knows. And so one of the many things that, I've learned from my mother and that I learned at that moment and throughout my life, and she shared this with me too, that particular day, and I didn't understand that then like I do now. And that is, as women, we also have to tell our men what we want. Right? So often we assume that they know. They don't have a clue. Right? We'll walk around all day mad, with attitude, we ruined it for everybody because we expect them to know what we want, and we know you know what is wrong with me. Right? They're very simple people. They don't know. Right? So you have to tell them what it is that you want. You have to tell them and explain to them who you are and what it is that you need. So that's one of the many things that I learned from my mother. And watching her do that, I was like, she's a G. She got everything she wanted, except for that bullshit that is still on the bed, right? So I look at her, and I'm standing there, and I look at her, and she's standing there now, no hands on the hip, she's just looking at me. Got kind of a little smile on her face, and I said, so, Mama, we taking them pots and pans back? She said, girl, hell no. I wanted them. I was 12 years old the first time I considered taking my life. I was 12 years old, and I had made a decision that I was going to change my F in math to a B on my report card. My cousin had shown me this little trick with a pencil and carbon paper to what my report card should be. And so he told me about this trick where he had changed one of his grades from an F to a B. I was like, oh, I'm doing that. I've done that all 6 weeks in math, changing my grade. So I do so, get the pencil, change the grade from an F to a B, and present my mom with the report card. And she is absolutely elated, and she's praising me, and she's saying, oh, I'm so proud of you, baby, because she know math is not my best subject. I've been struggling with math since I was just being in school. So it's 7th grade, and after I present her with, my report card, again, my conscience got to me, not quite enough, but enough to stand in the mirror in my bathroom, my house, and cry and say, what kind of daughter are you? To deceive your mother in such a way. Now, it wasn't the ass whooping. I knew it was coming. I was afraid of it. It was the sheer disappointment in her face when she discovered that I had lied to her. The greatest woman on the planet, my one true thing, I lied to her. So I had decided right then, crying in the mirror, I'm just going to take my life.
Now, obviously, I'm still standing here. And the ass whooping never came. I'll never forget her walking in my math class at the end of my 7th grade year, this spring, which means that I have changed my grade every 6 weeks. Entire school year. And not one time was it a D to a B, it was a F to a B. Every 6 weeks, my entire 7th grade year. But the disappointment on my mother's face when she walked in my math class and when she walked out and said, the second time in my life that I considered committing suicide was after my second child, my mother of 3. And my first 2 came a year and a half apart. So I had babies, 2 babies. I was out of my mind. I didn't really know what was wrong with me. Now my doctors had told me about postpartum, the depression, how you were going to feel. And I remember them telling me with my first child, didn't quite happen that way. But now I got 2 infants in diapers. It's out of my mind. Completely out of my mind. And I remember the doctor telling me about it again, my second child, postpartum, what it meant. I'm thinking, you know I'm black, right? We don't have got a problem. Never heard nobody I know talk about it. Only my white friends. Right? So I completely dismiss that. Right? So I'm driving down the street, and I'm on a freeway, but it's kind of coming toward the end of the freeway. I'm getting off kind of on the exit, so I got to make a little turn to the right. But if I keep straight, there's a building, a huge brick building, straight in front of me. And about 60 miles per hour, if I just keep straight, I'm gonna run dead into it. And that's it, I'm ready. I can't even articulate what's wrong with me. I just know I don't feel good. And I'm in my life right now. So I think I've committed to it. And I'm driving, and I looked up in the rearview mirror. I said, damn! My babies was in the back seat. I said, see, I can't kill myself because of y'all man. I made it through that time in my life without offering myself. It was love that saved me. I had never, I received all kind of advice from my mother, from the strong black women in my life and in my circle. And they had advised me on so many different things. But they had never advised me on postpartum, or being sad, or how you feel like your life is over because now you're built to sustain someone else's life. It's really why we're here. It had never been articulated to me, had never been said. And so I share that part of this story because I think that it's truly important as black women that we know. I found out that that's not true. It's not something that only that doesn't happen to us as it does. I made it. The last time that I had considered committing suicide or ending my life happened at one of the most difficult times in my adult life. I was going through a divorce from my husband, who I considered my life partner, my best friend, the father of my 3 children of 13 years. A custody battle of my 3 children. I had relocated back from Phoenix, Arizona, back to Henderson, Indiana. Small town girl. I hadn't been there in 20 years. I left at 18 and never went back. Now here I am back at my mama's house. I had no idea what I was doing there, and I have relocated back home without my children or my husband. Had lost my job, lost my place. My kids were staying with their dad for the summer. The only place that gave me any peace, I got to go home. Got to go to my mom's house. So I'm thinking I'm there to save somebody else. I don't know, they must need me. Why else would God direct me back to Anderson, Indiana? I said, I wasn't coming back here. And then I get there. I'm there for a few months, and I get diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. Aha, this is why I am here. Because again, love is gonna save me. I gotta go home. So, I'm going through all this. Now, all of this is going on at the same time. I'm divorced, custody battle, relocated home, cancer, and June 2015, I am actually in Los Angeles with Lex for a storytelling event. Now, in May of 2015, I'd had a double mastectomy, beat cancer. Toward the end of my custody battle and divorce, as we are due in court, that I am going to win for sure in August, right? June 2015, I'm there for that event. We're staying in Silver Lake, and we're in this beautiful house, and it's up in the mountains, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And there's this balcony, and there's this lake, and this is LA. I'm here to do my thing. I didn't beat cancer. Everything's about to be over. Sitting on the lake, chilling, I'm looking out. Every night that we're there, I'm on the balcony in that lake, reflecting on my journey. I go to bed one night, and in the room that I'm staying in it's upstairs, and the balcony is right. There's sliding doors to go out to the balcony from the room I'm staying in. It's all beautiful. So I wake up in the middle of the night, all of a sudden I wake up, and the commitment I felt in my life came over me in a way that I'd never felt that way before in my life. I was so afraid, because all I was thinking was, I'm tired of being tired. And this is it. I'm jumping off this balcony. So I'm crying and I'm shaking and I'm laying there and I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. So I swaddle myself in the covers. I mean, I put them as tight as I can, roll myself around in them, thinking this is gonna hold me in this bed. That didn't work. The urge is more and more and more. So I unswaddle myself and I roll to the floor. Right? Because if I stand up, it's not gonna be a good situation. So I'm on the floor. There's a bathroom maybe 3 feet from me. So I crawl to the bathroom. On the way to the bathroom, I grab my phone. Because I know I need an intervention. It's the middle of the night. I don't know who I'm gonna call. I'm sitting on the bathroom floor. I lock the door, holding myself crying. I'm rocking, thinking, oh my God, who can I call? Well, interesting enough, my best friend is in Dubai. She's not even in the country. But I knew she was up because there was a 12-hour difference in time. So I knew she was awake. She's probably at work. So I WhatsApp, I text her. Jenny, I need you, and I need you right now. She said, what's wrong? So I tell her, oh my God, I'm about to kill myself. I'm going to jump off this balcony. I'm just tired, and so, she calls me right then. Phone rings against the phone. I'm crying. She says, look, I am too far away to get to you. The only thing that I can say to you right now, Star, is that you are right at the pinnacle of the best part of your life. If you look over your life, from the beginning to this point, what you have conquered already, you're right there. I can't get to you. I don't even know who to call that can get to you. But you can't. So I'm listening to her, And what she said to me was so simple and profound in the next statement. Jenny wasn't the cusser. I'm the cusser. Professional. My mama trained very well. And she says to me, now, get your punk ass off the floor and get your shit together. And I said, I kind of chuckled for a second. I'm punk ass, who are you talking to? Right? But it was enough to kind of snap me out of it in that moment. Now, I ain't go nowhere near the damn balcony the rest of the time that I was there. Until the end. But you know, if the balcony was right there and I had to go past it, I was sliding across the wall. Right, out the way. So finally one night I said, you know what? That night I'm sitting on the bed, looking out the balcony, and I said, you know, you've got to go back out there. Star, you got to conquer this all the way. So I ain't go back there at night. I'm too afraid of that. The next morning I get up, I decide, okay, you're going out to the balcony, Star. So get to the door, and I am shaking, literally shaking. I open the door, step out. And I said, okay, you out here as far as you can go. I said, no, go on to the edge. Go on to the edge. Okay. It's kind of a short, it was a long balcony, but short. So I step over to the edge, and I'm still looking down. I'm so afraid to look down. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I look over, and I said, what the hell? What the hell? There's only 2 stories down. It's about to be in ER. Gotta explain why you even broke a bone, an ankle. I'm asking to jump out a 2-story. Because what I had forgotten was that while I was up in the mountain and sitting on the balcony, I'm overlooking the city and Silver Lake. But there was only 2 stories. Right, the same, little balcony, and if you were down on the lower level, you walked out of the house on the landing, right? Secure myself. I would have had to be Superwoman, Superman, right? I would have had to jump it through some trees, right, to get to the street to die, right? So I just remember thinking, I was so tickled. I can't even explain to you how tickled I was. I looked at him, I said, it hurt them ass just decided to jump through. She just gonna be injured. Right, just in case. From that experience, and it's something that I was so embarrassed about. Again, because I'm Black women, we're not supposed to be built that way. We're supposed to carry it all. Our shoulders are broad enough always. We don't go to counselors. We don't see psychologists. We don't take any medication to get us through everything that we have to carry as mothers and sisters and daughters. But what we have to have is each other. As women, of all shapes, colors, we need one another. We can be so hard on each other. But we need one another to circle around us and love us and get us through all those difficult things that we will encounter. And so what I learned from that is that life is both sweet yet savory.
That's right.
It is just as sweet and savory as all the cupcakes, cookies, and brownies right here in Croneville that surround us. What I've learned, I looked up the word savory in preparation for this event. Savory means both salty and spicy. You have to have the salty and the spicy in your life to get to the sweetest part.
That's right.
And I have arrived. Thank you.